Walls.
The walls at 2:23 p.m., a sudden disruption in courtroom number 7. On June 9, 2025, at precisely 2:23 p.m., an unexpected and dramatic moment unfolded inside courtroom number 7 at the Southern District Federal Court of New York. What had previously been a tense but orderly courtroom session was shattered by a sudden slap, a sound so sharp and unexpected that it echoed off the microphone placed on the witness stand, startling every individual present, judges, attorneys, jurors, court staff, and media observers alike. This incident did not just disrupt the trial, it potentially altered the course of the entire case. The person who delivered the slap was identified as Justin Dorr Combs, son of Sean Diddy Combs, the defendant in a high-profile legal proceeding related to alleged involvement in a series of private events known internally within investigative circles as the freak-off parties. Justin was seated in the front row among the defense attorneys when he abruptly rose and struck Clarissa Hope Mitchell, a 29-year-old woman from Queens who had recently taken the stand. What followed was more than just a physical confrontation, it was a theatrical, calculated act of defiance that sent shockwaves through the courtroom and beyond. The slap was not merely an outburst of emotion but appeared to be a calculated move designed to draw attention, provoke reaction, and perhaps even protect something, or someone. It was the first time in the ongoing trial that such a direct and unfiltered expression of anger had occurred in public view, and it raised immediate questions about who Clarissa was, why she was there, and what evidence she might have carried with her. Clarissa arrived at the courthouse under unusual circumstances. She wore a plain purple vest, black trousers, white sneakers, and no makeup, a deliberate choice that suggested she wanted to appear unassuming. Her presence alone was enough to draw attention, especially given that she had not been listed among the prosecution's witnesses and had not appeared in any prior public or internal documentation related to the case. She carried a sealed hard plastic envelope and a copy of a federal witness protection order, both issued on June 3 RD by the U.S. Attorney's Office. This detail was significant because access to the protected witness corridor typically requires an escort and strict security clearance, which Clarissa seemingly bypassed. As she stepped forward, the mood in the room shifted dramatically. For the first 45 seconds, she remained silent before finally reaching into her jacket and pulling out a red USB drive. Raising it to eye level, she made a single statement: "This is something the FBI couldn't obtain." That sentence alone hinted at the gravity of what was about to be revealed. She then handed the device to a courtroom technician and requested to play a short excerpt, approximately 11 seconds long, from an untitled video file. When the footage played on the large courtroom screen, it showed a dimly lit room bathed in red light, marble flooring, rows of leather seats, and at least 8 women blindfolded and kneeling in a circle. A male voice, clear and firm, stated, "I am the law here. You don't see anything. You only listen and obey." Audio experts later confirmed that this voice matched Justin Dorr Combs' voice print with 89% accuracy, based on a sample from 2023. At that point, Clarissa added one final line, only one sentence: "This isn't Diddy. It's his son." These words were explosive. They directly implicated Justin in the activities being depicted. Within moments, he sprang from his seat, pushed past 2 courthouse security officers, and rushed toward the witness stand. He slapped Clarissa across the face, causing her to fall back. The microphone clattered to the floor, and for 6 seconds, the live television feed went black. When the broadcast resumed, Clarissa was being wheeled out on a stretcher, blood visible on her cheek and the microphone cover. The USB drive was missing, and the judge immediately called for a recess. The jury was escorted out, and the defense team remained silent. Notably, Justin Dorr Combs was not handcuffed. Instead, he was led away by 3 gray-suited bodyguards, raising further questions about the nature of the threat he posed and the level of protection afforded to him. The attack sparked immediate speculation and outrage. Journalists and legal analysts began asking 3 critical questions. 1. Who is Clarissa Hope Mitchell? 2. Where is the red USB drive now? 3. Why did Justin strike her in front of the entire courtroom? Clarissa's identity remains largely shrouded in mystery. According to an internal source, she worked as a contract staff member at private events in Holy Hills, California, including the infamous private freak-off party held on May 17, 2021. Her name appeared on a staff list, but it was blurred out in the version filed with the court. This omission has raised eyebrows among investigators and journalists. Her testimony also revealed that she had been interviewed by the FBI in December 2022, but she did not provide an official statement due to insufficient safety assurances. In April 2025, a tweet attributed to her read, "He didn't need to order others. Did it for him. But that night, he struck first." Though the tweet was later deleted, screenshots captured by journalists suggest it may have been genuine. Now, the question lingers, was Clarissa acting independently, or was she part of a larger strategy to expose hidden truths? The red USB drive became the focal point of the incident. It was the only piece of evidence Clarissa brought with her, and yet it vanished from the table after the attack. No one saw it leave, and no cameras recorded its disappearance. However, a clip from a camera located in the west stairwell captured a man in a gray hoodie and glasses leaving the courthouse at 2:27 p.m., holding a small object in his hand. His face was obscured, and the access card used was scanned under the name E. Pearson, a name that does not match any employee working at the courthouse that day. This man had been sitting in the press row, carrying no camera or recording equipment, and wearing no name badge. His behavior was suspicious, and his identity remains unknown. Some speculate that he could be an investigative journalist previously banned from covering the Weinstein trial, while others believe he may be a former insider from Revolt TV, a media network linked to Sean Diddy Combs. Later that night, at 10:51 p.m., a 23-second clip was anonymously uploaded to Burrow, an encrypted file-sharing platform. The clip offered a second angle of the same red-lit room shown in the courtroom, revealing four men, one of whom strongly resembled Justin Combs. The deep voice, again identified as his, said, "This is her part. You start over." Accompanied by the sound of a woman sobbing, the clip sent shockwaves through the investigative community. Shortly after, an anonymous email was sent to a local Bronx television station, claiming to be a logistics staffer who witnessed Clarissa and Justin together in a dark room without surveillance cameras on a night in May 2021. "I don't know what happened inside," the sender wrote. "But no one entered that area unless they were assigned. Justin was the one who took her in." By 3:12 p.m., the FBI received an internal report about a data breach involving the courthouse's camera system. 6 hallway cameras on the third floor went offline between 2:05 p.m. and 2:38 p.m., coinciding exactly with the time window during which the red USB disappeared. All security logs were manually overwritten, leaving no trace of access. A technician named John Mayer, responsible for the system, suddenly took a leave of absence on June 8 without explanation. Meanwhile, a 23-second clip believed to be part of the original footage stored on the USB was removed from Burrow just 4 hours after it surfaced. An independent visual analysis team confirmed that the clip contained at least one man whose physique and voice closely resembled a 2017 Oscar-winning actor, suggesting that the footage might include individuals beyond the Combs family. At the same time, 5 investigative journalists in different cities simultaneously received emails from an anonymous address titled Redacted 42. The attachment included a never-before-published 2-minute transcript allegedly excerpted from the third tape, a data file that has never appeared on any platform. 3 voices are heard in the conversation, one referring to himself as Jay, another addressed as the boss, and a third using the alias scene partner. The final lines of the transcript read, "She signed it. Now it's your turn. In front of the camera. No need. I've got away." These lines have caused panic within Justin Combs' legal team, and the Diddy family's attorney issued a press statement denying any recordings of a coercive, staged, or defamatory nature involving their client. On June 10th, at 10:42 a.m., a man approximately 6 feet tall, wearing a hooded jacket, medical mask, an old brown leather coat with a scratch on the left sleeve, entered the Southern District Court. He carried a large brown envelope and simply said, "Deliver to someone in authority." He did not provide a name, left no contact information, and disappeared shortly after. When the envelope reached the Evidence Review Office at 11:09 a.m., it was discovered to contain 3 A5-sized printed photos, an audio recording burned onto a CD, and a document printout of a conversation between Justin Combs and an unidentified woman, dated May 24, 2023. In the transcript, the male voice says, "No one can know. Each segment must stay separate. If she opens her mouth, I'll come see her myself." The female voice replies, "You're using me as a shield. What about your father?" The man responds, "He's used to being filmed, but I won't let the name Bieber show up. They're still alive because I haven't aired their part yet." Among the 3 photos, one shows a chat conversation on a dark-themed screen with the sender's name displayed as Doctor, and the message reads, "The FBI won't come in. We have someone on the inside. Hold the footage until I say." Another photo reveals a scan of a USB drive labeled FRK05J, and a third is a photograph of an identical envelope, this time in the hand of someone wearing a Rolex wristwatch. Security personnel immediately sealed the envelope and locked down the 3rd floor. However, no official statement was released. By 12:21 p.m., both CNN and the New York Post reported that an unidentified piece of evidence was shaking the courthouse. Later that evening, an anonymous legal entity submitted an emergency petition to the court requesting a temporary suspension of the envelope's content analysis, citing potential national security risks if the recording referenced a privileged individual. At 2:35 p.m., a data technician monitoring the evidence control room logs discovered an anomaly. Although the envelope was recorded as delivered at 10:42 a.m., internal storage footage showed it had already been opened or replaced at 5:22 a.m. by someone not listed on the duty roster. That individual was later identified as George D., a Level 2 member of the federal task force overseeing the Diddy investigation. When questioned internally, George refused to answer and immediately requested a 30-day leave of absence. Less than 30 minutes later, a post appeared on an internal legal forum stating, "That envelope didn't come from an outsider. It's a message or a warning sent from someone inside the security circle." Soon after, leaked footage from an exterior courthouse hallway camera showed the envelope courier pulling out his phone and viewing a still from the freak-off party before silently deleting it. Under the dim lighting, part of his face became clearly visible. He wasn't a stranger. He was a dancer who had previously worked for Revolt TV and vanished in 2021 after withdrawing allegations against Diddy. By 5:43 p.m., the brown envelope had been transferred to Secure Room Number 2 at the Federal District Court. A closed-door meeting was held involving an unnamed FBI agent, the lead digital forensics officer, and the Deputy District Attorney of New York State. Their objective was to verify the legal validity of the audio file and 3 photographs contained in the envelope. No official record was issued, but by 7:10 p.m., an encrypted document surfaced within the internal network of the Coordination Office. It contained a handwritten list spanning 204 pages, with 18 names and annotations like FO7 BLK, full footage uncut, FO11 PVT, private event matches witness 2's statement, and FO3 MSV, coincides with envelope number 2, pending extraction. The FO prefix was later confirmed to stand for Freak Off, a series of secret events hosted at residences controlled or indirectly funded by Diddy. Each code came with a specific timestamp, hour, and sometimes even camera coordinates. Among the names listed were Jay-Z, Will Smith, Justin Bieber, an Oscar-winning director, a well-known television host, 2 CEOs in the digital entertainment industry, and even the name of a former Democratic congressman. Next to each name was a brief annotation indicating the type of involvement, the event, and the footage status. By 8:02 p.m., a legal advisor from the Office of Special Investigations requested an immediate halt to all data extraction from the drive containing the list. The reason documented internally was: the list includes individuals with multi-layered political and economic affiliations. Leakage may trigger a federal-level response. A copy was urgently sealed and flown to Washington on an internal 9:05 p.m. flight. However, according to a source within the secure data distribution system, before the sealing, a member of the investigative team had sent a PDF version of the list to their personal email. At 11:18 p.m., an anonymous email appeared on a document distribution platform commonly used by investigative journalists, with the subject line: "Names, timestamps, still alive." The only attachment was the list itself. The public was stunned, not just by the names, but by the implications. These were not random individuals. They were high-profile figures with political influence, media power, and economic reach. Office *** captured footage of a woman in a white blouse, visibly panicked, rushing into the duty office. According to the receptionist, the woman identified herself as Maria R., a healthcare worker formerly employed at Diddy's Home Hills residence, and left another envelope containing a copy of a coerced testimony signed in 2019, along with a note: "I've seen this list before. I witnessed at least 6 of them during those nights." They weren't just watching. By 4:07 a.m., the federal court summoned the Special Analysis Team, and the FBI proposed sealing all documents for 72 hours to assess the potential impact. In a private meeting at 5:30 a.m., a senior supervisor quietly told a coordinator, "This list isn't new. It was part of another investigation. It was buried. Now it's back." At the bottom corner of the list, written in red ink, completely different from the rest, was a line that read, "One of them is preparing to turn themselves in. The rest are planning to flee." No one knew who wrote it. As of 8:17 a.m. on June 12, the Manhattan Federal Court issued an emergency notice restricting all witnesses, defendants, and legal representatives from leaving the state for the next 72 hours. No one was allowed to access any recording devices that had ever been present at the referenced events. The court cited a high risk of evidence erasure via advanced technological interference. An armored vehicle carrying 3 hard drives containing the backup of the FO07 footage and the original list departed from the secure storage at basement level before heading to evidence room number 1 beneath the Federal Department of Justice building, a location accessible only under level 4 emergency clearance. Within 45 minutes, the entire internal surveillance system of the secure facility was temporarily disabled due to a sudden upgrade. At 7:32 p.m., an anonymous post surfaced on the darknet. One individual from the list has just committed suicide on the 8th floor of the Four Seasons Hotel. Emergency response team arrived but was delayed by 11 minutes due to lack of floor access clearance. No identity was confirmed. No cause of death was announced. Just 37 minutes later, the official representation offices for Jay-Z, Will Smith, and Justin Bieber simultaneously locked down all their social media platforms, disabled public email access, and stopped responding to any phone calls. Members of the press began lining up outside their homes, awaiting a final statement. Meanwhile, Justin Dorcombs was released from holding at 11:14 p.m., without formal notice, police escort, or known destination. A night shift officer at holding unit numbered 12 noted. He didn't look angry anymore. Pale, but not afraid. Like he already knew what was about to happen. Hallway cameras captured nothing. The door opened. Then closed. In complete silence. The list still hasn't been marked as complete. The third envelope remains unopened. And one last testimony is still waiting to be heard. The question is, who will still dare to speak?